going through the book, How to Talk So Your Teens Will Listen and Listen So Your Teens Will Talk. We've talked about engaging our teens' cooperation in the last few weeks. And today we're going to say that one of the ways to do that is to state your expectations very clearly, or your values. Um, Instead of criticizing the teen and pointing out what's wrong, state the value or the expectation that you're trying to foster in your home and in your family. There are many ways to do this. And by the way, nobody expects us to do all of these things that we are talking about all of the time in every situation. But in some situations, one of these ideas might be called for. In other situations, maybe two or three of them. But if we practice all of them over time, it's a great team or great elements of a foundation for engaging our teens' cooperation and building our relationship with them. But as usual, they have in their chapter, they have a comic that illustrates the point that they're trying to teach. So here it's a mother talking to her teenage daughter while she's putting on her makeup, and she says, "You're so mean to your sister. You never stop criticizing her." And the teen says, "Well, it's the way she dresses and those dumb glasses she wears. And her friends, all my friends think her friends are weird." And the mother says, "That's enough. Your friends are just as bad as you." Now, instead of pointing out what's wrong, criticizing, shaming the teen, state your values and or your expectations. What if the mother said something like this? "I don't like hearing put downs in our family. If there's something you want your sister to know that you think would help her, then I expect you to tell her in a way that won't hurt her feelings." Now, there's a lot of things that are happening here at the same time. But one of the things that's happening is the mother is speaking respectfully to the daughter, and she's saying what she expects from her. She's not saying, "I expect you to be bad. I expect you to be a jerk. I expect you to be mean to your sister." She's saying, "No, I expect you to begin to speak in a way that's respectful and helpful." And again, this isn't a magic formula, but practicing it over time, practicing thinking respectfully and speaking respectfully to our team will not only help engage their cooperation, it'll continue to help build this relationship that we have with our teens. It will build a strong foundation. When teens hear themselves being criticized, they tend to act or react defensively. And you know what? Adults do that too, don't we? And so why would we expect any less from our teens? Yet when they're spoken to respectfully, especially over time, they tend to rise to the level of the expectations. There have been so many studies of this done in families, done in schools with classrooms and teachers that bear out this principle. Again, not a magic formula, may take some time practicing this. But there are other ways to communicate values and expectations. Sometimes it's just simply saying it. Sometimes you might be watching a movie or something on TV and you see it being exemplified, and to point it out and to praise it in that teachable moment is a way of communicating this. Or you might see somebody else in real life doing this very thing that you're trying to foster in your home life. Pointing it out and praising it is another way of communicating this. There's another way to do it, and we've done it in these ways, but we also had another reminder that we made up, and it's what we call our family crest. And I'm not able to pick it up on the camera for some reason, so I'll describe it to you, because we have this family crest made up. My dad did the artwork, and on it is this crest-like drawing, and on the top is a crown with the Greek alpha and the Greek omega which stands for the Lord. And then there's our name, McCracken. And then there's kind of this cross over a shield, and it divides the shield into four quadrants. And in quadrant one, there's a C, which stands for courage. In quadrant two, there's an H, which stands for honesty. In quadrant three, there's an R, which stands for responsibility. And in quadrant four, there's a C that stands for compassion. And the sword that's going down the middle at the bottom of it is a dragon on his back with the sword piercing it in the heart. And then there's a banner underneath the dragon that says, "My hope is in God." And so these are part of our values and our expectations in our family. And one of the reasons that we chose these four virtues is because there are a lot of people who believe all the other virtues flow out of these four. There's a strong case to be made for that. I'm not necessarily going to argue it, but I'm going to say it's another way that we communicated this in our family. We had this made up, we put it on the wall of our boys' bedroom, and it was something that we all saw on a very regular basis to remind us to communicate what our values and our expectations were in our family. Well, that's it for today. We'll talk about another principle on the next edition of Parenting Matters with McCracken.